Badlands. Explain those Badlands. That's a hell of a name.
Okay.
Oh, that's not the screen I want. There we go. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Daily Herold here on Badlands Media. I'm your host, Jon Herold, and happy Tuesday. Shitty Monday is over. We are on Tuesday. I'm feeling better. I don't know about you guys. I'm not too incredibly salty today, so for those wanting some salt, you'll have to piss me off to get it. I saw a couple comments in the chat I wanted to comment on. Okay, Bass Burns says, I read the Make Elections Great Again Act, or HR 7300 this morning. That thing is pretty damn tight. Yeah, it is pretty damn tight, except all the effective dates for all the most important things are until 2027. That's what I talked about. Did I not talk about that? I could have swore. I know I did a Twitter post on it. Maybe I forgot to actually talk about it on the show. Sometimes I forget what I'm doing on social media and what I'm doing on shows. They all kind of blend together. But Joe Gilmore says, John, you need a new opening theme. That one is gay. If you want to make me one, I'm willing to try things out. Cece says, please don't. Then I'll have to deal with that at 101 Central. That's not true. I never carry over my saltiness into anything outside my show. I keep it here. Oh, there's another comment I wanted to read. I don't remember. Spencer, an amendment just added would move it forward to the 2026 elections. I think that was the SAVE Act. I think that was Nancy Mace, and I believe it was the SAVE Act. I'm pretty sure I have a story on that somewhere. If I can find it. I could have swore. Man, oh yeah, here we go. Nancy Mace files amendment to move the Save America Act voter ID timeline to 2026. And see, I knew there was something I didn't like about the SAVE Act either, and it was this. That's what I had forgotten about. I also don't think our government is going to be the ones to fix our government. You know what I mean? They're not going to fix our elections. They're not going to fix the system, and you've heard me say this a million times. They're not going to fix the system that they benefit from. It's not going to happen. We're dreaming. But yeah, this is cool. This is not the Mega Act, though. But anyway, Bass Burns, I saw the hearing this morning, which prompted me to read it. I forgot you said that on another show. My bad. You're forgiven. It's all good. You can stay in the chat. Didn't they combine the Election Act here into the SAVE Act? I thought they were putting it all into one, or am I mistaken? I think there's still two separate things. You know what I mean? Like there's a SAVE Act, and there's people pushing that. There's this Mega Act that came out more recently. The Mega Act, Make Elections Great Again, that came out the day after the Fulton County raid. So the timing on that is interesting. I don't think we've seen Trump endorse, and I could be wrong here, so don't quote or crucify me, but I'm pretty sure I haven't seen Trump endorse the Make Elections Great Again Act. He has called for the SAVE Act, though. The voter ID is common sense. Whatever system we have eventually, it's going to need you're a citizen, and here's the ID to prove it. But I don't know. 12 boy, I think John's hair looks messy and gay. Maybe that will get him salty. I think my hair looks great right now. Just got a haircut. You guys like it? It looks good, I thought. Doesn't look gay. Champion 54, sick of the leaders deciding how to kick us have-nots in the face. Yeah. I got a couple stories to talk about today, though. Yesterday, I talked about the Just the News that came out with that reporting. The J6 committee, Loudermilk, they unearthed more documents, right? And I finally read through the document, and I found an interesting connection in the timing of the FBI tabletop exercises and how it seemed coordinated to me anyway with the Transition Integrity Project. So we'll talk about that. A couple other random stories. Kind of a boring news day, though, overall. Quiet Coney says, I'll be surprised if anything passes that will help win the midterms. Yeah. It's unfortunate too, you know. The Congress, they're totally ineffective. They don't do anything to support Trump's agenda. They're stonewalling. It's the uniparty, and they're stonewalling Trump. Even 2/3 of this is from Bay Arthur's Dick. Even 2/3 of Democrats think we need photo ID for federal elections, and most people of color as well. It's another 80-20 issue the Dems are on the wrong side of. Yeah, I mean, it's even funny that some of the liberal networks are admitting to that. Like, this is not a one-sided issue. This is bipartisan in terms of the people. But what's not bipartisan is we, the people, actually want it, but the people who benefit from it don't. That's why it's not going to get put in place. And that's why you're not going to see John Thune end the filibuster. He's never going to do it. What about the Digital Currency Act? Is that a real thing? You know, that is a real thing. Are you talking about the central bank digital currency act? There's a few like crypto digital currency acts floating around. I don't even know where we're at on that stuff. But here's what I do know. Traditionally speaking, the government, our government, and I don't want to sound like too pessimistic here because I'm feeling pretty good today. But our government is not going to do anything that actually benefits us. When have they ever actually done that? It's never actually happened. And I'm not talking about Trump. I'm talking about everybody else. The issues we have with our government and these people that are like entrenched, the deep state, whatever you call them, the uniparty. We need to think of a better name. I feel like some of these, when we say uniparty or deep state or like normies, like those are turnoffs to people. Like we need to figure out a better way to normalize discussion about some of this stuff. But these people, like they're social media influencers who are put into office to one, create fake division to keep us divided, and so we can celebrate the little victories over each other. But all of those little victories don't actually move us forward in any meaningful way. And then the other side, like the other aspect of what they're trying to do is not actually like anything to benefit us. It's a falsehood. Everything about our government is fake and false. They don't actually represent us. They're not legitimately elected. They're not actually doing anything with their illegitimate power to make our lives better. Name one thing, and this is my X article that I wrote. Name one thing, or give me a list of things that the government has done that makes your life better. And I'll wait. I'll sit here and wait the rest of the show because you won't do it. I actually saw a video yesterday. I don't know where I saw it. I mean, it would have been on Twitter probably. But I don't know who made it. But somebody like fairly young, maybe 40s, 50s, put out a video. Her parents had just passed away. It was like a tragic car accident. And she was like going through their stuff, financials, and discovered like they had paid in millions of dollars to Social Security or to the government with the expectation that you'd get that back, right? You know, once you're older and reach a certain age, you'll get it back. Like millions of dollars and then nothing in return. I think she said in the video her mom had received like $6,000 or something. She had just started taking some of her Social Security before the tragic car accident. So that's gay. But that's what they do. They rip us off, steal from us, benefit themselves. Jim K, 1030. What happened to tax cuts? Just filed for the first time I ever owed money to the federal, $1,300. Isn't that stupid? And this is why I want to interview Trump, guys. I posted my video. I hope you guys are doing your part in helping me to share it around because, like, I have zero expectations I'm actually going to get this interview. It's likely a futile effort, but you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, according to Michael Scott and Wayne Gretzky, and now me. So I'm shooting my shot. Like there are questions that need to be asked, and why we're paying taxes is one of them. Because it doesn't feel right having to write like a check to the government and file taxes, knowing that every day we're getting new stories about how the government is using our tax dollars for fraud or spending it on things. You know, maybe I am a little salty today. I'm saltier than I thought I was after a moment of self-reflection. But anyway, our government sucks. Bass Burns, can we talk about the stupidity of more congressional inquiries or hearings, mainstream media gaslighting, narrative talking points? Why do the goalposts always move and still yet? Yeah. I don't know, guys. I think the goalposts move and continue to move because so many people in the movement are like so forgiving and they don't actually understand their power. That's our problem. We don't understand our actual power. And so much cheerleading, like we've been harping on the cheerleading this entire term because not everything we're getting from the Trump administration is sunshine and rainbows. You guys know I've been saying this for a long time. It's just not the case. And so we can't just be stuck in this mode of cheerleading everything. But for whatever reason, people are just, they're, I don't know. I don't even know. But that's the problem. Like it's us, not you guys specifically, not us here. But I'm just, when I say us, I mean broadly speaking, as a country as a whole, is we've allowed it to get this way. Jules 5777. This monologue is making my blood boil. Our government is truly useless and a bunch of criminals. I'm not trying to upset anybody, so I apologize for nothing. I don't care. Your blood should be boiling, guys. John's gonna snap into screaming Alex Jones mode any second. No, that's the thing, guys. Like I'm very frustrated about a lot of things, I'm still feeling pretty good. I'm a hopeless romantic when it comes to things. Like I am eternally optimistic. I do think that we have the power to get things done. And I don't always let the bullshit rain on my parade. Try to carry a big umbrella. Speak softly and carry a big umbrella, guys. I don't, Alex, like, why does he do that? I've seen more clips of Alex Jones like screaming and like crying than probably anybody else. It's crazy. Even the most favored nation drug cost is bust. Yeah. Richard War, well, your generation told us we were mean for saying retarded and gay, so it's your fault, John. Don't let me in with all the generation. I actually saw a story today. I don't even know if it's true, but I should pull this up. I think I saw a story that there are IRS people who haven't like paid taxes. And if they don't even have to pay taxes, what are we? IRS. Let me see if I can find the clip because I don't want to. Yeah, here's the clip.
While most Americans had to write a big fat check to the government today to pay their taxes, over 100,000 federal workers are not paying their taxes. In 2021, the IRS found that almost 150,000 federal workers owe about $1.5 billion in unpaid taxes. Over 5,000 of them work at the IRS and owe $50 million in overdue taxes. Even though the IRS can fire its workers that are not paying their taxes, only 20 people have been terminated. That double standard is something Senator Joni Ernst, Senate Doge Caucus chair, wants to stop. She's introducing several bills aimed at cleaning up the IRS. One bill would require IRS employees to be audited every year and fired if they don't pay their taxes. But while the IRS is not catching the tax cheats on their own payroll, they are busy arming their workforce. Ernst is also calling out 10 million taxpayer dollars the IRS has spent on guns and ammo, stockpiling 4,500 guns, 5 million rounds of ammo, even 15 machine guns.
Not something. And this is honestly where it starts. We've been like slowly moving. We're all slowly turning into G money. I think Bernie Bright says this all the time. He's like, you either, I don't remember how it goes. You either something or you live long enough to see yourself turn into G money. And it's kind of what's happening because it's hard to justify willingly allowing this behavior to happen. You know what I mean? Like somebody tell me one thing the government has done. The only thing I can think of that makes taxes worth it are the military. And local tax is a different issue. I'm talking federal government. It's ridiculous. That's somebody thought Trump was stopping the IRS from being armed. Yeah, I don't know. We were told a lot of things, guys. Not everything that we've been told has come to fruition. Not to say that it won't eventually. Again, I'm eternally optimistic, but it's okay to say that some of the things that we want to happen and we're told we're going to happen have not happened yet. That may be how you actually get those things done. Yeah, John, that was deep. Blah, blah, blah. G Money, something, something. That's a fitting quote for G Money. Don't get me wrong. But okay, let's get a quick word from our sponsor of today's show. And then we'll talk about some things and I'll see what you guys are saying. And we'll see if we can recover from this early onset saltiness that has overtaken the stream right now. But we have Van Man in the mix today. The good folks over at Van Man. You know about Van Man taking down big toothpaste with all natural oral care, right? Van Man's tooth powder is loaded with minerals like eggshells and bone, and combined with pulling oils and peppermint aloe mouth rinse, it's truly the ultimate fluoride-free dental hygiene bundle that saves you 25% off the individual prices. And the Van never stops. Introducing Van Man's new Pearl Eye Cream and Sweet Onion Shampoo. Head over to badlandsmedia.tv/VanMan to see what's new. That's badlandsmedia.tv/VanMan. Joanne Coach for $5 says, there's a cap on the withholding for Social Security annually, so it's literally impossible for someone to have paid millions into Social Security. I don't know. I was just looking at the video, Joanne. It could have been wrong. I'll have to find it. And maybe I'm misquoting the amount. But that was the vibe I got. Like, you pay a bunch in, you don't get it back. The best state to come. I have no problem with IRS agents not paying taxes if they all leave all of us alone. Those workers know it's unconstitutional. Q Awakening, 12 years sober, haven't paid a dime to fund the satanic pedophiles. Do not be afraid. If you're not, Satan has no power over you unless you give in. E.H. Kyle, I just left the Ways and Means Committee hearing on NGO and foreign money funding American NGOs. Yeah. I still remember back, like, right when Trump first got into office, and like it was one of the first couple episodes of this show, and I was saying, like, we have so much that needs to be fixed, and it feels like so little time, and everybody's like, you just got in there, you just give it time. And I was willing to be patient, but I was still voicing concerns, and it just feels like as more time has gone on, and again, I'm not trying to be a panicking, I know there are good things happening, I'm not saying nothing good has happened. There are good things happen. I think Trump he's laid his dick down across the global stage. Like, he can do whatever he wants. He's implementing these tariffs. He is being stonewalled at every opportunity, though, by all these people, both within and without his administration. And it's a concern. And the pace we're on, I think it needs to pick up. It is what it is. We can be honest with ourselves and with each other while still being positive and whatever. Ash 1776 says, I'm behind a few minutes, but disavow that we're all becoming G money. Global communism is never a good idea. It was just the principle of it. I was talking about the tax thing. Ash. Clutchworks can't reset the fiscal system until the Epstein influence sphere is in Guantanamo. I like that. Second chance, I agree. There's not a lot of time. If they are successful in stealing the midterms again, not to talk about the midterms, but if they are successful in getting away with that and Trump allows it to continue, do you think the stonewalling is going to get any better? Like, they've already laid dozens of narratives that they're going to try to impeach him over. Dozens of them. Let's see here. Speaking of Congress or Epstein, Ty posted a link. That link takes us to a CNBC article, which says Trump Commerce Secretary Lutnick admits visiting Epstein Island during family vacation. Let's watch the clip here.
Meantime, getting some breaking news out of Washington this morning. Let's get to Eamon Javers. Hey, Eamon.
Carl, that's right. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick testifying on Capitol Hill this morning, and Lutnick telling lawmakers up on the Hill that, in fact, he did visit Epstein's Island. Now, this coming after Lutnick had earlier suggested he broke off all contact with Jeffrey Epstein around 2005. Documents revealed in the Epstein files indicated that, in fact, he had a much more extensive relationship with Jeffrey Epstein after that point in time. And today he's admitting on Capitol Hill that he did go with his family to Jeffrey Epstein's island in 2012. Here's what he said just a few moments ago.
I did have lunch with him as I was on a boat going across on a family vacation. My wife was with me, as were my 4 children and nannies. I had another couple they were there as well with their children, and we had lunch on the island. That is true, for an hour, and we left with all of my children, with my nannies and my wife, all together. We were on family vacation. We were not apart. To suggest there was anything untoward about that in 2012.
So Lutnick saying that nothing inappropriate happened while he was on Jeffrey Epstein's island. Democrats pressing Lutnick, though, said they were concerned that Lutnick had misadvised the American people on exactly what his relationship was with Jeffrey Epstein in his public comments before those Epstein files became public last week, guys. Back over to you.
Yeah, he's also slated to meet with the Japanese trade minister. That big $550 billion promise of investment appears to be delayed somewhat, and I think the administration's trying to light a fire under the Japanese. We'll talk more about that later. Eamon Javers.
Well, there you have it, guys. What do you think about that? Because, I mean, obviously they're trying to. The Epstein thing has become such a toxic, and I know this is not what people want to hear. I'm going to say it again, just like I did on Sunday with Burning Bread on The Narrative, which I recommend you guys all watch if you haven't. Probably the only time you'll ever hear me actually recommending you to watch a Burning Bread show, but it was one I was on, so fair game. But the Epstein files are not what we were told they were. But they're clearly like made to be this like super toxic thing. And when I say that, the caveat being, at least they aren't yet. Maybe it is, and we just haven't seen those parts of it yet. Maybe that's coming. I don't know. But clearly, like, this is what they're trying to do with it. They want anybody associated with Epstein in any form or fashion now, which is like a lot of people. And I haven't seen have you guys seen any or much Democrat politicians in the files? I haven't really looked, to be fair, but I haven't seen much. But it seems like they're trying to make it so that anybody associated needs to resign. Like that's what they want. That's what would satisfy them. Ramon 222 says, I agree, John. Epstein was an evil animal, but this is just narrative warfare. Yeah. Tovini boy, I've always said anyone going to the island must be guilty of something. But why do we believe that? Why do you believe that, Ty? I'm curious about that. Because I mean, if that's the mindset, then we should also be calling for Lutnick's removal, if that's what you think it is. If it is what you think it is, and I've always thought it was, the files, he's saying he went to the island. He's admitting it. He says he went with his family. And by the way, like, must be nice to be able to go on vacation with nannies, multiple nannies, along with your wife and kids. Like, crazy. That's like a next level money. But if the Epstein files, if the Epstein is what we thought it was, or we're led to believe it was, then why aren't we calling for Lutnick's resignation too? Is that a little hypocritical? I'm personally like letting it simmer, see what happens. I don't know. Panda Droid says, I wish someone actually did an X thread on the Epstein file so it's easy for people to follow along. Can't stand everyone posting random Epstein file posts from different sources. Yeah. Joe Gilmore is calling for Bernie Brett's removal. Nah, I give him shit, but still love that guy. Edgar Friendly, after drop last night showing that Trump literally called the police on Epstein, the leftists now saying just because Trump knew he's guilty by association. I think I have a story on that too. Yeah, here. Trump told police in mid-2000s everyone has known about Epstein's misconduct. Oops. It'll be interesting to see how they twist this story. Shortly after law enforcement investigation into Jeffrey Epstein became public in the mid-2000s, Donald Trump called the Palm Beach, Florida Police Department to express gratitude, according to a newly released document. Thank goodness you're stopping him, Trump said, according to the document. Everyone has known he's been doing this. The document, a written record of an FBI interview that a former Palm Beach County police chief told the Miami Herald he gave in 2019, is likely to field more questions about when and what specifically Trump knew about Epstein and his crimes. President Trump and the White House have said repeatedly that Trump broke ties with Epstein in the early 2000s, believing Epstein to be a creep. Miami Herald reported the interview memorialized in a document was with Michael Reeder, whose name is redacted. So how did they know? He was the Palm Beach police chief at the time, which appears to have occurred in around 2006. According to the FBI document, Trump told him on the call that people in New York knew Epstein was disgusting. And he said Epstein accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell was Epstein's operative, adding of her, she's evil, and to focus on her. So yeah, this is what they're trying to do now. The question of what Trump knew about Epstein and his crimes has clouded the president's second term amid renewed interest in the story and release of millions of pages. So they went from like trying to crucify him for being associated in the files, period, which, as I've said, there are millions of mentions of all sorts of names because there's news stories in there. Trump is like the most famous person ever. Any news clipping or anything that got sent in the emails had his name in there. As far as I know, there's no actual like direct conversation between Trump and Epstein in the files. But now it's like he's guilty by not disclosing stuff earlier. Like, what are they even trying to get at here? It's so stupid. The investigator, this is from Frederick Leathers in the chat. The investigator said Trump was the only one to call him back about Epstein. Ash1776 says Brad's thread of Epstein Q drops is really good. I agree with that. I reshared it on my Twitter too. It's nice to see some responsible Q drops, responsible use of the Q drops. 12 Indie Boy says, if you saw something and didn't say something, you're just as guilty in my eyes. Trump reported it when he was a citizen long before POTUS. Agreed. That's a great point. Zach is doing a good job digging into him too. Yeah, a lot of people are. There is good information in the files. I am a little personally sick of it, like the narrative of it. And I see it being weaponized against Trump and his admin. So that's what I'm focusing on, the narrative warfare aspect of it. But I still think, I go back to what I said back, man, when was that? That was in June or July. I was like, it's not going to be what we thought it was. And in my opinion, I think I've been right about that. But let's quick buzz through a few other things. No update on the Doge website. Silver is coming in around $81. Bitcoin at 68,860. The White House website, there's nothing new there either. But now this is a story that I talked about yesterday. I just want to mention this again because I found something that I think is personally interesting. So the FBI secretly prepared for disputed election and political violence in 2020, according to a bombshell J6 memo. What did they know and when did they know it? The memos from 2020 recently turned over to Congress by FBI Director Kash Patel also warned that foreign enemies like Iran and China were likely to foment domestic violence on U.S. soil. Oh, did I see something in the chat? Oh, never mind. Richard Rohr, John need deeper dive. Stop chasing clickbait. Richard Rohr, I like you, man. But some of the shit you say is so stupid. Like, how in any way have I chased any clickbait? I feel like I'm the only one not chasing clickbait. I feel like that's what everybody's doing. Anyway, the FBI conducted a tabletop exercise in the summer of 2020 that imagined what sort of violence might ensue in a contested presidential election that year, devising strategies like undercover informants and mass prosecutions for minor crimes that it would later use with the January 6th Capitol riot. And this is that file right here. So the one thing that I thought was interesting is, obviously the FBI doing tabletop exercises, wargaming, what violence and extremism might look like in a contested election situation. It's the timing of it. They did this tabletop exercise in June of 2020, right here. In June of 2020, the FBI Boston held a virtual alternative futures exercise composed of FBI Boston intelligence analysts, blah, blah, blah. They identified a range of potential scenarios of domestic violent extremism activity responsive to a disputed 2020 U.S. presidential election. And guess what? The Transition Integrity Project, who I've written about in my series, I know Mike Benz has done a lot of talking about this. People in our movement are very familiar with this, but just to give you guys the broad strokes, the Transition Integrity Project did their own war game scenario in 2020, a bunch of tabletop exercises where they went through 4 scenarios surrounding the 2020 election, and ultimately all of them would end with Biden in office. You guys remember this? Scenario 1, it's ambiguous. We don't know who won. It's unclear. Neither campaign is willing to concede. And their war game, ultimately Biden ends up being the winner. Game 2, clear Biden victory. Biden wins both the Electoral College and popular vote. Trump alleges fraud, takes steps to benefit him and his family, but ultimately hands the White House over to Biden. 3, clear Trump win. Third scenario started with an Electoral College victory for President Trump, but a popular vote win for Biden. In this scenario, Biden refused to concede. He convinced the Democratic governors of 2 states that Trump won to send separate slates of electors. So the people that were bitching about Trump doing that were wargaming themselves doing that if this scenario unfolded. Isn't that crazy? They encouraged 3 states to threaten secession and convinced the House of Representatives to refuse to certify the election and declare Biden the winner. That's a clear Trump win, by the way. And these are like the liberal think tanks doing this. And then the game 4, the narrow Biden win. Eventually, the Trump would refuse to leave and he has to be removed by Secret Service. It's also stupid, but this was them like narrative seeding a lot of things, in my opinion. And according to them, in their August report that they came out with, August 2020, they were just trying to like spur their stakeholders to action and be prepared for any of these scenarios. But it's notable and not a coincidence, in my opinion, that this tabletop exercise from the Transition Integrity Project went hand in hand with the tabletop exercise from the FBI, the intelligence community. Both of them having to do with a disputed 2020 election. And this one in particular, kind of wargaming out what a J6 might look like. They fabricated the whole thing. They stole the election. They knew Trump would obviously call that out. And they also knew that Trump had the ability and the authority and the constitutional duty to not allow that to happen. So they had to figure out how to stop it. They used the media. They used all these NGOs, think tanks, everybody they could, called to action. Social media, the mainstream media, big tech, Hollywood, everything. Everything used to get us to the Biden inauguration. And they had the intelligence community right there with them. And that's why we got the fake January 6th. This was the culmination of what the Transition Integrity Project said would happen. And it's why they wargamed it. It's like, see, we told you guys it would happen. But they were the ones who did it. The whole thing was them. Which is why, again, Trump, I believe, knew this was coming, saw it coming a mile away, and put things in place. The devolution theory, right? Continuity of government. There's no way he legitimately walked away. Otherwise, he was derelict in his duty and undeserving to be president and elected again. That's my opinion. I don't think he actually walked away. This is another reason why I want to interview, because I want to ask about the moves he made at the end of his term and point out the fact that, like, hey, bro, you knew it was your duty. Duty is such a funny word. But anyway, you knew it was your constitutional duty, and you're telling us that there was fraud. So why'd you walk away? Doesn't that make you derelict in your duty? Questions like that. But isn't that crazy? The timing. June 2020, both of them. And I tried looking. I didn't get too far, but I tried looking into any overlap between people at the Transition Integrity Project and people at the FBI field office in Boston at the time. And I haven't found anything yet, but it was kind of only a surface level dig. But I bet there's something there. I would not be surprised if it was more coordinated than we think. And when it comes to justice, like RICO and whatnot, the underlying investigation going on, and even the election one, it's all connected. What they did, going back to 2016 with the Russiagate hoax, all the way through them trying to politically persecute Trump while Biden was in there, everything in between from these people is all connected. And I wouldn't be surprised if we at some point see communications or direct connections between the Transition Integrity Project and intelligence community and the RICO investigation that's going on. Wouldn't shock me at all. We better freaking see it. Richard Rohr says, John, it had to be this way. Sometimes you can't tell them. You have to show them. Almost like a plan. Red folder. That's a good excuse. People love using that excuse, Richard. Sometimes you can just show them after you've got done telling them and doing the things you say you're going to do. And they can see the effects. They can be shown the effects of the things you're telling them. That's a cool plan too. 40-foot angle view says there's a reason pre-law is usually a social studies degree. Stay ignorant and cucked. I don't understand what you're trying to say. Is that directed at me? John watched Mr. Truth Bomb Easy Peasy. I have watched him before. He did a couple videos on my series. Weld Monkey says, where's the plan to stop picking my damn pocket on the regular? I don't know if that plan exists. Keith O'Higgins for $1 says, John, those tabletop exercises weren't nearly as exciting as the tabletop exercises performed by those Senate aides in the hearing room. Government-funded sodomy. Yeah. Isn't that dumb? Midterms coming quick. Better shit or get off the pot. Yeah, what do we do? What do we do if it gets to the midterms and none of the election stuff has been exposed or the reforms put in place? What do we do? Oh, 40-foot angle says, not at you. Lawyers are a joke. Ignorant and nowhere else to go. I mean, yeah, I'm dealing with my own legal stuff, right? You guys know that. And I like my lawyers. Like, they're good people. They're earnest people, I believe. I don't know if all of them are that way. But the ones that I've engaged with, 4 out of the 5 I've engaged with seem to be good. But I know, generally speaking, lawyers suck. I know the opposing counsel is awful. Anyway, we don't need to get into that. Trump declares midterms are no longer a thing and only final grades count. Yeah, I would love to see the nationalized election or even postponing elections. It would be funny to watch the mainstream media try to justify, like you did once justify them postponing elections in Ukraine, but now you're going to argue against doing that here. It'd just be funny. Not that they need any more evidence of these people being hypocrites. Richard Moore, they want a civil war. Trump taking action before all the crash they had access to for PSYOPs would be destroyed. We'll see. Nomad says, interested in Chris's and your opinions about how Bannon looks to be done. Yeah, yesterday I talked about this a little bit. Like, I was kind of waiting to see what all came out, but there's definitely a clear anti-Bannon op surrounding this Epstein file stuff. But it's interesting to me that every time there seems to be like this coordinated effort against Bannon. And again, this is not even me taking a position necessarily on Bannon. If I had to, like, if I had, gun to my head, what do you think of Bannon? I would lean that he's a good guy, like, good team. White team? So we have red team, blue team. That's like the government. Is it white team, black team for the white hats, black hats? Gray team, maybe? I don't know. But I think he's white team. I've written about him in my series. He's part of the hit list squad. He's worked with Ezra Cohen Watnick, Derek Harvey, Rich Higgins. They were weeding out the deep state for Trump in his first term. And then they had that like fake little breakup. He's the guy who wrote Trump's inaugural speech from 2017. Like, that thing was one of the most viral clips. I used it in all my Devolution Power Hour intros. Speech was a banger. He's been the leading edge of a lot of narratives, but he's also got some not great connections to people. And honestly, like this is the thing maybe we're starting to realize, or maybe I'm just talking to myself. Maybe I'm starting to realize how all of these power players, maybe that's the way to call them, like whether it's politically a power player or financially a power player, they're all interconnected. And it's so gross. Like, they're all scissoring each other. It's so stupid. But it would make sense that Bannon's in that mix. Now, I'm not trying to forgive him for any of the Epstein connections. I haven't read through everything that's come out of the Epstein files. But my point is, Every time there's an anti-Bannon op, Trump seems to almost come to his defense. Like a couple of weeks ago, he had that post in support of Steve Bannon, like kind of out of nowhere. The only thing that was going on was Bannon was under pressure and fire from the mob. And he posted that. And then yesterday, when the mob was also reaching a fever pitch, we had this story come out from Just the News in stunning reversal. Trump DOJ seeks to dismiss Steve Bannon's January 6th conviction and indictment. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche says the Democrat-led House January 6th Select Committee did not properly form itself, and therefore its subpoena to Bannon trying to compel testimony was unlawful. And we're going to talk about this on Saturday, by the way, because the way Chris is framed this is super good, and I don't want to ruin it, but it's like a devolution angle. It's super interesting. Anyway, in a stunning reversal, the Trump Justice Department on Monday asked the Supreme Court and a federal judge to dismiss the criminal contempt indictment and conviction of Steve Bannon for refusing to testify in the January 6th investigation by Congress, declaring such a request is in the interests of justice after years of politically weaponized lawfare by the Democrats. The move by DOJ is extremely rare, but not unprecedented, considering Bannon was already convicted and served time in prison. And that's the thing. Like, is he going to get green light to sue the government now? And that's honestly my biggest concern. Like, with the rhetoric of just trust the plan, that needs to be this way, all these things, there are people that are actually suffering. Like, there are damages being done if the plan is ongoing. Like, how do those people get like restitution for those damages? You know what I mean? Had things been done a different way, had we not had to show the people, and I understand there are casualties of war, but again, like, they're going to have to answer those questions. I'm just saying, just pointing that out. Nomad says, love you guys, but not sure anymore. This looks bad. And hey, we could be wrong. I'm not claiming to know one way or the other about any of these people. I don't know any of these people personally. I'm just noticing a pattern that every time the anti-Bannon op picks up, there's something pro-Bannon from Trump or his administration. This is what General Flynn says. This is really ugly. Epstein, bossy would be a big win. Bannon, beyond big. I would run things. That's why it won't happen unless the choice is Christie. Epstein, Christie has told his friends that he is first choice. Let's just read the thing. Bannon says he is competitive, which only reinforces how stupid Trump is. To think it worked this hard for 10 years to get psycho Chris Christie running the country. Or to think I worked this hard. Agreed, says Epstein. It's a back game now. Dems, Mueller, SDNY, Jared, Europe Parliament, Brexit, strategy, then tactics, not the reverse. Guys, this is all from December of 2018, by the way. 5 months out, different chessboard. Bannon says keys to hold base together while he gets crushed without going down with the ship. And then Epstein says Jared opposing Chris. Yeah, I mean, there's no excuse for that. That does not look good. But also, we don't know what he's like. What if he was doing this stuff to befriend Epstein to take him down? Like, we don't know what we don't know. But all this stuff's coming out now. Optics are not great for Bannon. I will give you that. Sarge Sparky, John, can you say this? Keep your friends close and scissor your enemies. Yeah. John, if Stephen K. Bannon sued, Discovery would be fire. Rise of Tire was Bannon the Sting. That's it. We just don't know. We don't know. And then the question would become if this is all legit, right? And Bannon is this guy. Are we assuming Trump didn't know and keeps bringing him back? And can we also be honest? Not trying to defend Bannon, but just trying to defend this behavior. Like, in private conversations with people, you say things that you wouldn't want said in public. Like, there's been private conversations where I've bitched about BB or Chris or my friends. Still love them. Like, that's what people do. That's what it means to be human. So I'm also not trying to get on the bandwagon of crucifying somebody when I can at least admit that I don't know for sure what is actually going on. We don't know the bigger picture. Either it's Bannon and Elon Gayfabe, or Bannon will sue soon, or it's true. Schrodinger's op. I love that. Schrodinger's op. That's what you need to put on a t-shirt, Razatire. I feel like I've made a meme about that at one point. Schrodinger's something. Is that how you spell it? Let me look. Let me look through my brilliant Twitter feed and see. Nothing. I could have swore. I'll have to go back and look. Fun to say abandon bandwagon. That's a tough one. John admits he loves BP. Confirm. Okay, well, let's not, I mean, I can be a little hyperbolic too sometimes. But no, they're all my bros. People get upset with their bros. They say things about their bros in private to other bros. It happens. It's life. Rub your nose if you don't trust the plan. Anyway, let's keep going here. I know I had more stories that I wanted to get to. Ooh, FBI released a video of a masked armed person at Guthrie's house. No way. Drama.
The FBI has just released an actual video, and we're looking at it now. Ed and Jake, are you able to see what he's doing?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. So FBI Director Kash Patel just 2 minutes ago released new images. One of them is just another, two of them are still images of this assailant walking up to Nancy Guthrie's front door. But then the videos, one of them has him holding his glove over the Nest camera and then walking backward and getting a tool or a rock.
No, it's not a tool.
What is he getting?
It looks like he goes back. He goes back out from the porch and grabs some shrubbery off the ground or grass.
He's grabbing
or something.
shrubbery. Okay.
And it looks like he was trying to cover the.
Oh, he's
ring
trying
cam.
to block the Nest camera. Okay,
so it looks
I
like
see.
He's trying to.
And that's the second image, the second video, I should say, of him taking this shrubbery, these plants from the yard and trying to block the camera.
And so at some point he gives up on that and then just decides.
To take the camera altogether. But while he was doing that, the camera was indeed recording, and because of the work the FBI and the Pima County Sheriff, working with the private sector, working presumably with the folks behind these Nest cameras, I
mean, I haven't super closely followed the Guthrie psyop because I mean, it sucks. Obviously, it would be tragic if what they're saying about this is true, and I don't wish ill upon anybody. But low key, I just don't really care. Sorry, but it just is what it is. But this does not look good, obviously, if this is real. Like a man shows up masked, wearing the OJ gloves, huge backpack, trying to cover the camera. I mean, I don't know. I'm getting the impression she's probably not alive anymore. So I'll still pray for Savannah Guthrie and her family and her mom and everybody. Hope all is well, but does something fishy about the whole thing. Let's see here. Nomad for another $5 says, love you guys, and the fact that you look at both sides, especially Chris, not believing anything. Agree 100%, but if Bannon is black hat would explain a lot with Posobiec, etc. Crazy InfoWar times. Yeah, I've never really trusted Posobiec. There's there's a lot of weird just overlap between all these people. And I found too, ever since I put my video out trying to get an interview with Trump, I've been trying to share it to people that I've connected with over the years that, maybe loosely associated with people in the Trump admin. And I'm not talking to anybody important. Just I know this person is connected to somebody at the White House. So I wonder if they can get it through there. And I just feel so weird doing it. And so watching these other people do it in front of everybody, it's just, I don't know, just gross. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know about Bannon. We'll wait and see. Ash1776 says, walks like a Fed. Spetzel, really well thought out. Didn't bring any Vaseline or anything to cover the camera. Or duct tape. You'd think somebody breaking in would have duct tape. You just put that right over the camera. Tommy's Russell says, John, you should look into the best home security company and try to get a sponsorship, not Nest or Ring, someone who does spy on you, maybe doesn't spy on you. One of my buddies here actually in town runs a security company, and I've got them. Got cameras all over, things on the windows in case anybody tries to break in, sets the alarm off. And it's not a Ring doorbell camera. It's a different version of like its own private thing. So what's the timestamp of the video, though? I don't know. Doesn't say on CNN. This is what the FBI is giving us. Squatica 65. I'm getting the impression the whole Guthrie thing is just another Jussie Smollett. Let's see how it concludes, because if it goes like I think it's going to go, we're probably going to end up getting a story that it was MAGA who did it, or QAnon did it. Or maybe not. Maybe it was an inside job with somebody in the family. I think we'll see. Lee Walden. John, I'm of the same belief. This is for $2. So thank you, by the way. I'm of the same belief of Bannon and Trump's effort to shack all the ticks in the bushes. Bunch of commie rat bastards. Yes, they are. Dragon45 said, you won't get an interview. You know too much and you're too honest. Sad but true. And you know what? That's not an indictment of me. That's an indictment of them. Like, you can't sit there and complain about the fake news media being the enemy of the people, but only give them exclusive access. But everybody I've sent that to, or like talked to about it, or who's talked to me about it, is like, yeah, this is a definitely a futile effort. Like, you're never going to get it. And I know, but isn't that sad that every person that I've sent that to is like, yeah, it's probably not going to happen. Like, the state of things with the media ecosystem, it's just sad. And I'm not even saying that I'm deserving of an interview. Like, there are probably better spoken individuals, smarter people, better platforms, bigger platforms, who are honest and would do a better job than I would. But none of us are getting the opportunity. That's what sucks. Selfishly, I would like to be the one to do it, but not hold my breath. Rise of Tire, heard a decent theory. If kidnapping is not a scripted op and is happening, it could be a warning to all media not to report what's coming out via the Epstein vector. Yeah, maybe. I need to see more to get on board with that theory. CC says, yeah, plenty of home security inside too. Someone would be dumb to come here. That's pretty true. Small arsenal. Not quite Zach's arsenal, but we good. Guthrie situation smells like Rob Reiner. I forgot about Rob Reiner. Lee Walden again. I, for one, have total confidence that you will have a visit with the boss. That's the goal. That's the dream. Spetzel, maybe you should let Ash do the interview. I'd definitely bring her with. She said she would want to come as my producer. Brian showed, this from Jess Coke. Brian showed the other week that Savannah Guthrie helped cover a Georgia election fraud, and now her mother was kidnapped. I mean, all these people helped cover the election fraud. AOB22 for $10 says, thank you guys for the generous rants today, by the way. Really appreciate it. John, I am neither the sharpest or dullest tool in the shed, but you and Badlands contributors help me hone my skills. I appreciate that. That's what we're all trying to do, is figure out what's going on, make each other better. Iron sharpens iron. Sometimes that means you need some friction. That's okay. Trump is forging ahead with his plans for a 250-foot arch, despite concerns on the ground and in the air. I mean, he really wants this arch. I'm not going to bypass this article, but I don't see the big issue. I think it'd be cool. Outside of the tax dollars being spent on it. Like, I don't think we need it. I would much rather the money being put towards that. He's probably going to find private investors to do it. But still, I'd rather the money towards that be spent towards eliminating income tax. What else? Got a couple other stories here I want to buzz through. I didn't realize the time. RNC has asked the Supreme Court to clarify mail-in voting rules. They wanted to clarify mail-in voting rules nationwide, requesting that ballots arriving after Election Day not be counted. The filing challenges Mississippi's law allowing ballots postmarked by Election Day to be counted if received within 5 business days. A lower court upheld the law, but a conservative appeals court struck it down, and Mississippi appealed. The RNC emphasizes the importance of a uniform federal election standard, noting that Election Day statutes govern when states must close the ballot box, not when voters must make their selection, and that an election is the state's public process of selecting officers, which remains ongoing until all ballots are in the state's custody. The brief cites historical Supreme Court precedent and Congress's longstanding establishment of a federal election day. But then what about leading up to it? The whole mail-in ballots thing is so dumb. We already talked about this. Trump warned Palm Beach police about Epstein 2006. Already talked about this. Nancy Mace files amendment to move Save America Act voter ID timeline to 2026. I am not a huge Nancy Mace fan. I don't care how often she tries to show her tits to everybody. Not a big fan. But I appreciate the effort here. Good effort, kid. Already talked about this. DOJ moving to vacate banning conviction. Yeah. Ghislaine Maxwell, she pleaded the fifth yesterday. That was yesterday, right? Yeah. But we talked about this yesterday. She's prepared to speak honestly and fully if granted clemency by Trump to exonerate him, which just saying that in and of itself means, I mean, he was already exonerated. There was nothing they had on him anyway. That might be all I got. Oh, Jamie Raskin's up to some bullshit. He says that Trump was in the Epstein files like 1 million times. What Jamie Raskin saw in the unredacted Epstein files. The interview Tuesday that when he redacted Epstein files the previous day came up more than 1 million times. I wonder if Raskin's name is in there at all. Hold on, I'm going to look. Jamie Raskin is in the files 47 times, guys. Guilty. AOB 20, or no, sorry, Andrea McCulloch says for $10. Again, thank you guys for being so generous today. Nobody's asking why Bannon hasn't released his documentary Monster. He can't. It's coming. He watches Badlands. I kind of want to see that documentary. We got that one clip out. I haven't watched that yet. I know it's all about financial stuff, and a lot of people said it's pretty good. I originally was waiting to see if it was legit because I have trust issues, and which I think is a good thing when it comes to social media and the info war. You should have trust issues. And that's another thing. I've been trying to think out this thing in my head about. I don't even know if I should open this can of worms right now, but about how people form their beliefs. Like they see something, like whether it's evidence or a story or proof of something, and then all of a sudden they believe that to be true. But then after that, their belief prevents any other evidence from contradicting it. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? I can word that better. Maybe we'll talk about that tomorrow. Like you use evidence to form your beliefs, but then your beliefs won't allow you to look at evidence that contradicts it. So it's like a weird, I don't know. It's a weird info war thing. It's along the lines of confirmation bias, like your confirmation bias. Once you get the beliefs that you have, your confirmation bias won't allow evidence to actually go against it because you've built your identity around what you believe in. And I think we see a lot of that within the MAGA movement and community as a whole. I don't know why I started talking about that. But anyway, Nomad for another $5 says, John, angle for the first interview after it all goes down. Trump's not going to be able to undo his fake character yet. Set yourselves Badlands up to be a major player on the other side of that. Well, we're going to try. We're just going to continue to operate how we're operating and hope that continues to draw more people in. Hope that continues to, urge people to get activated, motivated. And if we're right about where the future is going, where the real currency isn't money or anything, it's like honesty and integrity and authenticity, then we'll have no issues. That's what we're shooting for. And if it's not that way, then we're fucked. It's kind of simple as that. Babufio says, kidnapping for $2, although different, reminds me of Kemp's daughter's fiance explosion and his sudden backing away from election investigation. I mean, why would they need to like get Savannah Guthrie under their thumb? She's already under their thumb, you know? Lee Walden for $2. The Arch will cover the workings of the Golden Dome subterfuge. Interesting. Babufio says for $5, good insights. Thanks, John. Thank you. 40K foot angle. John, show some tit career booster. If I had tits, maybe, but I don't. I have pecs. Chiseled pecs. Yeah, truth doesn't mind being questioned, Bay, but a lie does not like being challenged. Bay, we need to talk, man. I was talking about the show about getting you to Nashville, and somebody very generous sent in a little money to the Bay Theater Dave Nashville Fund. So we need to figure out what we're going to do, because we need to get you there. Now we have people trying to fund it. So we should talk about how to do it. I don't do the rant thing. That gets messy, but we should figure out a way to properly get you there. Because you got friends, man. You got friends in the community, Dave. And we love you. So we'll get you there. We'll figure it out. Any other stories real quick? No. I think I'm probably good. So guys, I'm going to send you over to Ghost. I know he's live right now doing his geopolitics show. So tell him I say hi. Make sure you guys get yourself some self-disclosure. Valentine's Day is coming up. And it is good. Lotion is great for more than just, Valentine's Day. John, did you see what Trump said on Air Force One about the kidnapping and that there soon will be a solution? That is pretty cool. Is that a Mason thing? I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, hit the thumbs up, everybody. Would appreciate that. Share it around with your friends and family. Leave your suggestions or tips if you have any of those for me. And otherwise, I will see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Daily Herald. You guys have a great rest of your Tuesday.
The following ad is rated M for mature. Soft Disclosure wants you to get naked this Valentine's Day with limited edition his and her bundles that save you 20% off the individual retail prices. Proprietary oil infusions, grass-finished beef tallow, goat's milk from American goats, locally grown herbs and ingredients. Soft Disclosure is putting America First fruits on your skin.
And for these sexy bundles, we've added an all-new boar's haired beard brush and a solid jade gua sha. And the reason I'm here is because Alpha doesn't know how to say these words.
Gusha. His, hers. We need a moment to calm down. Don't hide your skin. Disclose it. Get naked this Valentine's Day with Soft Disclosure. Head over to softdisclosure.com and save 20% off individual retail prices with our his and hers customizable bundles, and use promo code NAKED to save 15% off the rest of the site. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. Promo code does not apply to bundle discounts.
Let's get started. That's what she said.
Oh, that's real good.
Why they stopping me?